First time that the Kentucky Derby was ever run.
That's right. And
but I'm not sure of the horse. Let's see.
Anybody clear us up on
it might have been Citation.
Citation? No, it wasn't Citation.
Ponder?
Ponder? No. You're right about the race. Mr. Keaton.
Whirl Away?
Whirl Away, that's right. There's the last part, and it's pretty tough. 19 feet, 2.5 inches. Mr. Albert.
That's my broad jump record.
That's right. That was really some record. Well, since the quiz kids are tangling with the lions today, Mrs. Catherine Brown of Appleton, Wisconsin, wants to see whether the contestants can spot the people in the Bible who tangled with some lions. First, who killed a lion while on the way to see a young lady? All right, Mr. Albert.
Samson.
Samson, that's right. And here's the second part. Who, through no fault...
Hi, it's Angela Warner. The Warner family is pretty serious about the fair. The food, the fun, the family time. But Warner Stallion has another fair tradition. Back when we used the fairgrounds as our warehouse, these weeks meant clearing out all of our appliances for a mega sale. And that tradition stuck. Right now, during Savings on a Stick, you'll save up to 50% off regular prices. And then we add a bonus for each one you buy for up to $1,200 instant savings. State Fair Savings on a Stick, only at Warner Stallion Appliance.
Owning a rental property sounds like a dream until you realize how much work goes into getting it ready. Determine a competitive rent price, market the property, schedule the showing, screen tenants, draft up the lease, set up rent collection, handle maintenance requests, maintain tenant communication. Whew, sound complicated? Renter's Warehouse is here to take the hard work off your rental to-do list. Qualified tenants? Check. Rent collection? Check. Maintenance coordination? You got it. Go to renterswarehouse.com for a free rental analysis to find out how much your home can rent for. Or call 952-444-6996 because from now on, the only thing you need on your to-do list is to call Renter's Warehouse.
...of his own spent the night with a bunch of lions. Oh, the hands went up mighty fast there. Sally Ann.
Well, that was Daniel in the lion's den.
That's right. Fine. And here's your next question. It's from Dr. Henrietta Komitzer of Washington, D.C., who is devoting her life to the education of the blind. She has told us of a wonderful project carried on by the United States government of supplying talking books free of charge to any blind person who requests them. The government has complete books recorded on long-playing records, and they are circulated to state libraries for the blind and are mailed out from there. They are for the use of the blind only, and any blind person who is interested can obtain further information by writing to the Library of Congress, Division for the Blind, Washington, D.C. For this question, we are going to represent records taken from 3 different books to give you a sample of the variety of books made available, and you contestants must try to identify 2 of them. Here's the first one.
I am well aware that I'm the humblest person going, said Uriah Heep modestly. My mother is likewise a very humble person. We live in an humble abode.
Naomi?
Well, that was from David Copperfield by Charles
That's
Dickens.
right. That was Uriah Heep. All right, here's the next one.
I really tried to like chickens, but I couldn't get close to the hen, either physically or spiritually. And by the end of the second spring, I hated everything about the chicken but the egg.
Oh, Mr. Kelly.
The egg and I?
That's right. I'll bet you a homemade cookie you're right, Mr. Kelly. Now, let's try this third one.
A very good case may be made that California, next to New York, is the most important state in the Union, which is one reason why I begin with it. It is, for instance, the one above all others that could best exist alone.
That's John Gunther's Inside
That's
USA.
right, Inside USA. I know that one of the projects you lions are interested in is helping the blind. And, Mr. Keaton, I wonder whether you could tell us about some of your other worthwhile projects.
Yes, Pat. It just occurred to me how the name of this popular radio program, sponsored by the Miles Laboratories of Elkhart, Indiana, and the activities of our Lions Clubs have so much in common. Your program is the Quiz Kids. It's a quiz program. Your participants are constantly seeking the right answers and solutions to multiple questions and problems. I like to think of our Lions Clubs as quiz men, grown-up quiz kids, who ask literally thousands of questions daily about what they can do and should do to improve the lot of humanity, asking about every conceivable worthwhile community project from all phases of blind work to the building of hospitals. In fact, our international president, Herb C. Petrie, Jr. of Carrizo Springs, Texas, is absent from this broadcast as he's down in Panama, dedicating a great children's hospital that was financed solely by the Strong Lions Club of that city at a cost of over $500,000. And Joe and Pat, it is the quizzing that our Lions do and the results that follow that has made our association by far the largest service club organization in the world. We have over 8,300 Lions clubs in 29 major countries with a membership of 403,181 members, all ultra anxious to find the solution that will give us a better world to live in.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. By the way, Mr. Kelly, do I get to explain about the Alka-Seltzer Awards?
Oh, you bet you do, Pat. You go right ahead.
Well, the questions used in our program are sent in by you listeners. When a question is answered correctly, the Alka-Seltzer Award is a fine Zenith transoceanic portable radio. For example, that's what Leroy Wagner of Melrose, Massachusetts, receives for this question, if it's answered correctly. Well, let's try it and see what happens. What association, made with the following fictional characters, would describe the condition of your car motor at various times? Here's the first one, Rip Van Winkle. Wendy.
There's Rip Van Winkle was on the Catskill Mountains by the Hudson River.
That's right. Well, what was he doing there that might describe your car motor? Lonnie?
Well, he was sleeping. It might be kind of snoring.
Oh, snoring. Naomi?
Well, he was idling.
Idling. That's another one. Can we think of some more? Naomi?
Well, when he woke up after his 20 years sleep, he was old and rusty.
That's right. And Joe Kelly.
Well, your motor could be missing.
That's
he
right.
was missing. We got in there, didn't we? Oh, boy.
Very fine. Here's the next part. Puss in Boots. Wendy?
We have a Puss in Boots record, and
You do. It's well, what about the car motor now? Mr. Keaton.
It was purring.
Purring. That's right. That's exactly what we were thinking. Well, like I said, Leroy Wagner gets the dandy Zenith transoceanic portable that gives worldwide reception no matter where you are. Now, if you had missed, he would have had a choice between a Zenith television set and a large console Zenith radio phonograph combination. That television set is the Zenith Buchanan, and it has everything. A new super range chassis to ensure the ultimate in performance, the sensational built-in picture magnet aerial, single knob automatic tuning, and the glare band black tube for clearer pictures. The large console radio phonograph plays all types of records and has AM and FM radio. If you would like to win one of these fine Zeniths, send in a question for our radio program. Address your questions to Quiz Kids, Box Y, Chicago 77, Illinois. All right, let's see what we can do with this next question from Mrs. Alice M. Bode of Long Island, New York. If 3 racehorses were entered in a race and were named Stopwatch, Shoes, and Cabbage, in what order would they finish? This is a type of a pun or a riddle. Mr. Keaton.
Well, let's see. Stopwatch, shoes, and what's the other?
Cabbage.
Cabbage would come in ahead.
That's right.
And the stopwatch comes in by second.
That's right.
And the shoes last.
Last.
Say, Pat, before we get into the next question, I have something to say about Christmas shopping. That certainly is a timely topic right now, isn't it? And, of course, it's lots of fun, but a day of Christmas shopping can wear you out, friends, fighting the crowds, going from store to store, trying to find exactly what you want, and by the time you get home, it sometimes happens that you ache in every muscle and your head is splitting. But your misery can be brief. Take Alka-Seltzer for relief. That's right, good old Alka-Seltzer that can have you back in the good old Christmas spirit in almost no time. Now, remember that, friends. Yes, whenever a tiring day brings on muscular aches and pains or a headache or both, take Alka-Seltzer for the fast, effective relief it can give. If you're downtown, stop in at a drugstore fountain for a glass of Alka-Seltzer. Keep Alka-Seltzer where you work, too, and always at home. Yes, where there's Alka-Seltzer, there's a way to fast relief from the discomfort of a headache and muscular aches and pains. That's Alka-Seltzer in the friendly blue and white package.
Is that all you have to say, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, for the moment. Pat me by. You may continue.
All right. Here's a spelling question from Mrs. Phyllis Adams of San Francisco, California. Now, it has become almost a standard saying that the accuracy of a businessman's spelling depends on the ability of his secretary. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll pretend that little 5-year-old Wendy is the secretary of you business executives. I'll give her a word to spell, and if she misses it, it's up to you to spell it correctly. All right, Wendy, see whether you can spell this first one. Monotonous.
Monotonous.
That's right. And how about the second one? Plausible.
Plausible.
That's fine. Now, this last one is very tough, so I think we'll let the Lions have first crack at it. Idiosyncrasy. Mr. Pierce.
Idiosyncrasy.
That's right. Wendy? Wendy, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. Well, here's a quickie from Mary Hubble of San Francisco, California. What woman's name is spelled the same forward as backwards? There are quite a few. Mr. Keaton.
Well, Hannah's one.
That's right.
Anna's another.
Anna.
And,
Sally Ann. Eve, that's right. Mr. Kelly.
Ada.
Mr. Albert.
My wife's name is Anona.
That's right. We have that on the card. Naomi.
Aviva.
All right. Well, we all like a good tall story now and then. So for Mrs. Adele Smith of New York, I shall give you clues that pertain to famous tall stories. You are to identify the story and finish it. In what story did men grease a griddle in a very unusual way? Naomi.
Well, that's from the Paul Bunyan stories.
That's right. And what was the name of that episode?
I don't know. I think...
well, that's when he greased his feet to skate around in it to fry the ox.
That's right.
He wants to know what the name of the story is, Mr. Keaton.
Paul Bunyan's...
So far, so good.
The Tall Tales.
No, it's Paul Bunyan's Great Flapjack Riddle.
Flapjack Riddle, right.
That's very good. I can see you're up on Paul Bunyan. All right. In what tall story does a man lose all of his main crop? In what tall story does a man... Lonnie.
Well, I think that's in The Wizard of Oz by Baum.
That's right. And how did that
Well,
happen?
it was ruined by a cyclone, and in the cyclone, the man's daughter got carried off to Oz.
Mr. Albert, is that right? You were going to say something.
I know of a story of a man losing his main crop. It's told by one of our past presidents, and I don't think he'll object to me repeating it. Out in the eastern part of Tennessee, it's quite mountainous. There's a man out there who, at the drop of a hat, would curse violently. And one day he was taking his only cash crop up the mountains, a load of apples, when the tailgate fell out of the wagon and all the apples scattered down the mountains.
Oh.
Well, he had his little grandson with him, and the man got out, and instead of beginning to curse, he started to write. The little grandson said, "What are you doing, Grandpa? Why are you so quiet?" He says, "Well, son, the way I feel, I just simply cannot express it, so I'm writing it down."
Hey, Pat, that question didn't have any reference by any chance to my head.
No, Mr. Kelly.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Well, just to see how observant you contestants are, try this question from Ruth Schulstead of Chicago, Illinois. What state has the following color scheme on its automobile license plate for 1950? Aluminum on black. Up, Mr. Dodge. Sure, raise your hand now. You were going to say Michigan? Oh, well, that bell means it's time for the judges to name the winning team. We'll give them a few seconds to total the scores. And friends, while we're waiting, here's an important message.
Mothers, here's why you should give your children one-a-day brand multiple vitamins. Children to have perfect health, normal growth, strong bones, and good teeth, to be alert in the schoolroom and on the playground, must get proper food and enough vitamins. Millions of children are handicapped because their mothers do not see to it that they get enough vitamins. Don't let this happen in your family. Give each member a one-a-day brand multiple vitamin every day. This will furnish their needed supply of the essential vitamins. Guard them against vitamin deficiency disease. be sure it's One-A-Day brand multiple vitamins, the kind with the big one on the blue package.